Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sports with Skiz, episode 28. The seasons are flying by. We're going to be doing it a little bit different this show, but shout out to everybody tuning in on YouTube. Shout out to everybody on the podcast. Today, we are going to be doing a breakdown of week 11 from college football, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about college basketball as well, too. So if you love college athletics, welcome in. Knock, how we doing?
Oh man, it's cold. It's cold, and it happened too fast, brother. Way too fast.
Way too fast, bro. And we got some flurries out there today. I was driving around a little bit. It was like a winter wonderland, looked like a little snow globe. I'm not ready for this. For everybody who doesn't know, I used to be a fat ass and I was always able to keep a little bit warmer than what I am now. So I hate the cold, cannot stand it. Uh, but we'll kick it off here. Knock. We'll talk about a game that happened on Friday, one that we were looking forward to, when you came out on the winning end on. But Tulane and Memphis. Tulane beats Memphis 38 to 32. I mean, Tulane got shot out of a cannon to start that game. I mean, they scored 35 points in the first half, only three in the second. Retzlaff could not miss at one point. I think he was like 8 of 8, might have even been a little bit more than that, for like 200 and some yards and two touchdowns. They just were clicking on all cylinders. And then it was kind of, too little, too late for Memphis. Brendan Lewis did have a pretty good game as well, too. He tried to bring them back with some heroics, but they ended up falling a little bit too short. And Tulane gets a much needed victory if they want to try to continue their push into the college football playoff.
Yeah, there's nothing better than giving out an upset winner. I think to be safe, I told the fans to take plus 3.5. Knowing me, I probably told them sprinkle something on the money line. But yeah, no, that was nice. It's just games like that are always weird, dude. It's a tough matchup. Those two teams are fighting for a perennial spot in the college football playoff. Memphis, they just have such a good name. Like they're the standard for like a Power Five program, or not Power Five, excuse me, Group of Five program kind of deal. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
yeah, Jake Retzlaff, 4 total touchdowns. We're talking about 370 plus combined total yards through the air and on the ground. Uh, yeah, I like it. Tulane, like you said, shot out of a cannon. Looked a little bit coked up to start the game, and then they got a little drowsy there in the second half. And too little, too late for Memphis, like you said. So I love it. Go Green Wave.
Yeah, shout out to them. Those icy whites were clean. Memphis's uniforms were nice too. The all black with the royal blue and the silver. With Memphis, that's their second loss in conference. That basically is gonna, I feel like, wipe them out of playoff contention. But you never know. We'll still see. But I think that's really about it from them. Moving on to the Saturday games, a just absolute dominant performance. I ended up on the wrong side of this one too, and I really don't know why. I kind of took BYU plus the points. There was just something about them that I felt not really confident that they were going to win. I just thought it was going to be a much closer game. They came out with the sick throwback logo, but Texas Tech, man, their defense is just phenomenal. Like they're just so good. Only gave up 7 points. Morton looked really good. The running back Dickey looked really good too. And my boy LJ Martin for BYU just could not get it going. I want to say he had 10 carries for 35 yards. His longest was a 12. So BYU just really couldn't do anything, to be honest with you, on offense.
Yeah, I gave out BYU plus 10.5. Probably told you to sprinkle BYU money line too. And I'm not really mad at it. I think ultimately the hype of Bear Bachmeier will get you. I mean, nobody expects a team to go 3 quarters without a point in football. You know what I mean?
Right.
So shout out to Texas Tech's defense. I didn't realize how lethal they were. Again, Bear Bachmeier, just being a freshman, he threw the ball 38 times. So Texas Tech controlled the game.
And didn't
Um,
even have 200 yards passing, which is crazy.
right. Yeah, he struggled, man. I mean, they were in the backfield. He was running for his life. Made a couple good throws. I saw a couple of drops in there, but yeah, too swarming of a defense. He was in hell.
Yeah, it was bad. They went BYU ended up going 3 of 14 on third down. But shout out to I got to shout out BYU's defense. I feel like they were putting a lot of like early predicaments leading to Texas Tech's first field goal. It was a muff punt. Texas Tech then goes 4 plays, negative 12 yards, and they kick a 47-yard field goal. This game could have legitimately been like 31 to nothing at halftime, but BYU's defense held a little bit strong there and kind of gave them all they got, but they weren't getting any offensive support, which didn't help their cause.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Moving on to a game that I really didn't expect it to be much, but I'll tell you what, it gave us kind of one of the best catches I've ever seen in my life and was one of the better games that I do remember watching. I'm talking about Indiana going on the road to State College and barely escaping the Penn State Nittany Lions 27-24. Knock, go ahead and kick this one off.
Yeah, man. All season we kind of saw or haven't seen too much of Nick Singleton. It's been really the Katron Allen show. And Singleton, he's been there 4 years. This is a guy that can go pro. He's got the capabilities, and he showed it with 3 touchdowns against Indiana on Saturday, man. This kid ran his ass off. Oddly enough, and as weird as it may sound, this is just the kind of person that I am. I almost watching Penn State versus Indiana in that predicament in a scenario where you didn't think they were going to win, they were a complete underdog, and they just showed every bit of heart, every bit of fight. You know what I mean? A team like Indiana is truly dominant, and you know when they're truly dominant because as bad as a game as you can have, you have one drive left, fourth quarter. It really showed the cojones on Francisco Mendoza. He went out and made 4 or 5 incredible throws. And we're talking on 3rd and 13. I think maybe even a 4th and 13. Early on, once they got that first down on 3rd or 4th and long, I can't remember which down it
I
was.
think it was third down.
It
I'm
was
pretty sure it
smooth
was
sailing,
third.
man. And Penn State they played well, but you can't. They were just giving up the middle of the field and giving up the seams early. Then their tight end had that little corner route. He just goes up and just Omar Cooper, man, just finishes it off, bro. Just incredible. But honestly, that's what I want to see from Penn State. You don't want to see them lose, but if Penn State's going to be like that, I want them to be that kind of competitive and play with that spirit.
Yeah, and they definitely still had the backing of their home crowd. I mean, it's hard not to get up for the number 2 team in the country, even if your season has gone to shit. But Omar Cooper Jr., man, I can't believe that catch. For those who didn't see it, again, I said it in my winners and losers. You're living under a rock. It was one of the greatest catches that I do remember. And I'm not just like saying that as someone who doesn't like Penn State. If it was a Penn State receiver that did that, my jaw would have hit the floor just like it did for Omar Cooper's catch. Pause. But
Yeah,
like
that
to
just the
levitate your, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just like you said, to levitate, just the pure body control behind it. I mean, humans can't do that. You know what I mean?
No,
Somebody's
that's like top
dragging you out of bounds,
1%.
like you're defying the laws of physics right there. So
Yeah, like
it is
his
stuff.
foot was coming, that foot was coming down first the whole time, and somehow he just has the awareness to lift it up and get the one in and secure that. So shout out to Omar Cooper. As you said, Mendoza, shout out to him. That was kind of like a, Heisman type moment there where he was struggling pretty much all game and then marches down the field for the game-winning touchdown. And I do also want to shout out Charlie Becker. Their best receiver in Elijah Surratt was out, and boy, this dude stepped up in a big way. The sophomore out of Nashville, Tennessee, coming into that game, he had 7 receptions total on the year. In that game alone, he had 7 receptions for 118 yards. He was Mendoza's go-to man, kind of before he even made a hell of a catch, I think, on that last drive where he was caught the ball like backwards, barely got his foot in to set them up in basically the red zone area. So
Yep.
just an all around great performance. From there, and then I got to shout out Ethan Grunkenmeyer. He kind of looked better today than he has in a lot of games past. I know he had the interception, but 22 with 31, 219 yards and a tutty. He looked like he was kind of stepping into a little bit of a groove. So it'll be interesting to see what we have there. And Danny Dennis Sutton on the defensive side for Penn State. Don't really love all the antics and the celebrations that he was doing with like the Dragon Ball Z stuff. I kind of find that corny. I'm not an anime guy, but he was having a hell of a game as well too. um, but yeah, the Hoosiers, man, stay undefeated, and it'll be interesting to see what the college football playoff looks like if they drop any spots or what. A team that I could see, you know, I think the top four is kind of going to stay put. Texas A&M went on the road and kind of handled Missouri pretty well, 38-17. Knock, were you able to watch any of this game?
Yeah, I caught a little bit, you know what I mean? And I mean Texas A&M was just too good for them, you know. Missouri's backup quarterback,
Third string quarterback.
yeah, third string quarterback, just didn't work out well. I think it was kind of close for a moment, if I'm not
It was
mistaken.
close
Like,
for a while. It
yeah,
was close
early
for a
on in the
while.
game it was close, and then just as it started picking up, Texas A&M just started chugging away, man. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Texas A&M is really good. I gotta give them some more credit. Um,
Hmm.
you know, Owens had 13 carries for 100 yards and two scores. Two 100-yard rushers, though, and Ahmad Hardy and Roberts for Missouri. So, you know, shout out
Hmm.
to them. They try to keep it going. You know, it's just Zoller's 7 of 22 for 77 yards. And, you know, you can't really, you know, the line was it was so close. It was, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a 2.5 point spread, but I think it was at like 6.5, 7, something of those
Six and a
lines.
half, I think.
You know, and it's like, for a third stringer. You know what I mean? You just would
True
have thought,
freshman too.
yeah, right, right. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining at all.
Yeah, and shout out Marcel Reed, man. He's living up to the hype. I don't think he had as much hype coming into the year as say like a DJ Lagway, who we'll talk about later on, but he's just exceeding expectations right now. 221 yards passing, two touchdowns, no interceptions. He looked really, really well. And you said it, man. If Missouri gets better quarterback play, and I don't even want to knock him, dude's a true freshman going against the number 3 team in the country, PA guy, so I don't want to shit on him too much. But if you're able to get more than just 77 yards out of your quarterback, I think it's a much closer game. The defense played really well, especially in that first half. And then it's kind of like, well, similar to what we said about BYU, they're just not getting that offensive help. To go ahead and do what they need to do. But we'll move on from this one. Another SEC team, number 4 ranked team in the country, Alabama hosted LSU. They got it done 20-9. This was kind of like a very weird game. It just, even though Bama never really like pulled away, it just never really felt close in a sense. And Garrett Nussmeier, he also got benched. I don't really know. I mean, he went 18 to 21. I feel like there wasn't much that he could do. That Alabama defense just looked so good, and they were getting after him all day. A lot of tackles for loss, 3 sacks as well too. So I don't really know where you go from here if you're LSU. That just was a terrible performance all around. Shout out to the Tide for continuing their momentum.
Yeah, man. I honestly didn't even tap into this game, not once. You know, we spoke about it. Just LSU's been underwhelming. I definitely thought they'd cover 10 and a half and lose 20-9, and it's 11. You know what I mean? My
Yeah,
gosh, you know, it just
yeah,
sucks. But um, yeah, Bama's good. Bama's good. And LSU
Bama.
just really, I mean, they've just so many question marks throughout the season. You know, they haven't, not once were they able to get their offense going. I think Garrett Nussmeier went for 4,200 yards passing last year just based off the strength that nobody was really expecting him to do much. If you look at his 2 seasons prior at LSU, I don't think he eclipsed over 2,500 yards passing. So just a disappointment.
Yeah, he
You got
wasn't. I mean,
Coach
he
O.
wasn't even the starter till last year.
Okay.
With Jaden Daniels.
Right,
I
right.
mean, we forget that he went
Fair.
there and stuff,
Yep.
but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, going into the year, he was second in Heisman odds at plus 800, and now he's
Yep.
getting benched. So, not to beat a dead horse here, I suffice. I will move on to a much more, I guess. I guess more of an exciting game. A lot of people I don't think would just because it was kind of like a rock fight, but the Oregon Ducks go into Iowa City and barely, barely, barely escape the Iowa Hawkeyes, who again are on the loser end of a very, very close game. The Ducks 18, Iowa 16. Um, I mean, no one on the offense of Oregon. I mean, Dante Moore didn't really have that good of a game. 13 to 21, 112 yards, 1 interception. The one that I am very high on, and I love to see him doing well. Noah Winning, he did Whittington, excuse me. He did really good, rush for over 100 yards. He was kind of that bright spot in the offense that didn't really have much going on for them, I guess. Um, I mean, shout out Jerry Mixon, number 54, linebacker on Oregon. He was all over the place, 13 tackles, tackle for loss as well too. And then, Gronowski, I guess, did what he had to do, 10 of 18, 138 yards, one interception, had 25 yards rushing, almost had the game-winning touchdown on fourth down as well too, where he scored. But then, of course, Oregon goes down and kicks a game-winning field goal.
Yeah, I watched some of this game, Mike. It's really weird if you look at some of the statistics. Iowa won time of possession. Iowa had more passing yards. Oregon outrushed the Iowa Hawkeyes, and not by a small margin either, by 160 yards. They
Hmm.
outrushed Iowa. So, and I mean, they had it. I mean, they were so close. They had it, Mike. They lose by two. What happens in the first quarter? They give up a safety.
Yeah.
I mean, go figure. Go
That punt was
figure
like
that
16
safety.
yards over his head.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, had to end up kicking it out of the end zone. You know what I mean? It's like, go figure that's how you lose. Iowa played their tails off. Dante Moore, though, got to say one thing: 112 yards passing, fine. You went out and made two absolutely beautiful throws when it mattered the most. And he's
Hmm.
done it on numerous occasions this year in big game situations, crunch time, game on the line, man. I like this kid. He's got balls. He's got balls.
Yeah. He definitely does. And it's crazy too, just seeing that Iowa couldn't even, like, they had one of the cleanest games I've ever seen. They had just that one penalty that was called on the punter for illegal kicking or swatting, whatever it is. So they had one penalty for 0 yards to Oregon's five for 57, which is hilarious. But yeah, this is one of those losses that you're like, it only happens to Iowa, unfortunately. But we'll move on from that. Oregon. I don't know. I got to see more out of their offense. Ever since that Penn State game, it's like they've kind of taken a step back in a sense, if you feel me. But we'll move on. We got a couple of more games here to cover. I will start with an upset, I guess. Wake Forest beats UVA, number 14 in the country, 16-9. This
Great
game,
call.
I was tuned into it. This game was definitely weird. The only touchdown that came from either team was a punt
Punt
return from
return.
Wake
Yep.
Forest, and
Yep.
then the rest were just all field goals. And Virginia, man, I don't know how you don't wake up for this game. I understand. I will say, Chandler Morris was knocked out of the game in the
Yep.
first half with a pretty brutal hit to the head,
Yeah.
and was down on the field for a while. But I don't know. This was just such like a UVA top of the ACC team loss that I've ever seen, where like Wake Forest didn't even wow you. I mean, besides Damon Claiborne, he had 25 yards rushing or 25 carries for 75 yards rushing. Robbie Ashford could not complete a pass to save his life, 7 of 16 for 46 yards. He did add 57 yards rushing though, but I don't know. This game was ugly.
Yeah. I first and foremost, that's a great call. You called it. You called Wake Forest on the money line. You called them. So great, 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 Mike. But
Hmm.
yeah, like you said, Chandler Morris goes down. That's a big deal. But you know what? Virginia could have won this game. And I'm sorry, but it's got to go into the hands of the loss goes on Jamari Taylor, the running back for me. Here's why. 16-9, Virginia has a chance to score. They're driving, and Jamari Taylor helping them get downfield. Unfortunately, he fumbles the ball in Wake Forest territory late in the game. We're talking about 540 mark in the game. Now, Virginia did force a three and out, got the ball back, did drive down the field with their backup quarterback, but unfortunately weren't
Hmm.
able to get into the end zone with Kalen, who, you know what, didn't perform too poorly. 18 to
Mm-mm.
28, a buck 45. He had a major rushing touch, or not touchdown, but he had a major rush of like 50 yards in there. So, um, yeah, Jamari Taylor, bro, you got to hang on to that football, man. I mean, that's just a situation where you could have went down and maybe at the very least kicked a field goal, and the game changes at a point like that. So turnovers matter.
Yeah, they definitely do, and they had three of them, Virginia to Wake Forest to zero with three fumbles lost. So the ACC is basically wide open again. And another team that basically helped that run of ACC teams, or helped other teams, I guess, get a chance at it, is the California Golden Bears, who walk into Louisville and they beat them 29-26. Sagapatelli had a hell of a game. He threw the ball a shit ton, 30 for 47, 323 yards, two touchdowns to Miller Moss's 20 of 38, 203 yards and an interception. Louisville kind of was trying to live on the ground this game, and Cal put the ball in the hands of their best player, who's the true freshman quarterback, and they had a lot of fight. They got out to a nice little early lead. They fought back, they maintained it, and they were able to go out there and score in overtime, get a touchdown to Louisville's field goal, and walk that game off.
Yeah, great win, man. Hey, like you said, ACC is wide open. I was excited to see Sagapatelli do that. He's had a rough couple of weeks recently.
Hmm.
You're the one who brought his name to my attention early on in the season.
Yep.
He is just a true freshman. So, and Louisville's good football. Louisville's good football, but, Miller Moss, you can't, it's weird. They put up 26 points and they just had like two mere 1 yard rushing touchdowns. Like it was just weird. And in the second half, it was kind of a rock fight. I mean, Louisville scored a
Hmm.
touchdown there, and then three field goals from that point, and then just that touchdown in overtime. So, congratulations to Cal. That's a big win.
Yeah, shout out to Cal. We'll stick on the upset train here. Wisconsin, the Badgers. Holy shit, finally. Their first win since September 9th, I believe. No, I think it was like September 6th. It was over a full calendar, 2 months. It was over full 2 calendar months. The craziest thing about this, and I'll let you go ahead then, Knock, is the leading passer for the Wisconsin Badgers was it the punter, right? Number 91, or the kicker?
Who's your kicker? Yeah.
It was the kicker. He went 1 of 1 for 24 yards. To then their backup quarterback, Hunter Simmons, 2 of 3, 16 yards, and Carter Smith, 3 of 12, 8 yards. I will say that the it was an ugly game. It was snowing up there in Madison. It was cold as shit, but I couldn't believe that that's how it was.
I didn't watch this game. If you did watch this game,
You're a
shame
sicko.
on you. You just took you. I mean, if you're rooting Wisconsin, nice. But if you're a Wisconsin fan and you watch this game, holy shit! Like, dude, that's time taken off your life. Go smoke a carton of cigarettes or something, because that's what this game had to have done. I mean, I'm just looking at the stats, Mike. I did not watch this game, and I'm glad I didn't. Three different quarterbacks threw passes for Wisconsin for a combined 5 of 15. 23 yard. How is that possible? How?
Makes no fucking
How?
sense.
I mean, shit. I don't know what's worse, that or Justin Fields throwing for 12 yards in a full game. I really honestly don't. It's just this era of football is so weird, Mike. I've never seen anything that, I mean, bro, I kid you not. I'm 5'8", 139 pounds. There's no way I can't go out and throw for 23 yards. There's no way. No way. No way.
Yeah, it was crazy. I just couldn't help myself but laugh. I was tuning in a little bit to this game, and then I had to do stuff in the afternoon, and I had some other games on my phone that I wasn't really paying attention to this. But shout out to Wisconsin, man. They were down 10-3 at halftime. They come out and scored 10 points in the second half somehow. And Washington, man, what a terrible loss. And not to mention, Wisconsin is the official UW now. So you're not going to call Washington UW. It goes to Wisconsin. It runs through Madison until they play again. I mean, you got to get some confidence into the fan base, I guess. Fickle, they announced, is going to be coming back next year, which, say la vie, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, shout out to the Wisconsin Badgers, man.
Yeah, man, that's awful. Just awful. I'm so glad I didn't tap into that one.
Two couple quick ones, and then we'll jump over to some college basketball and stuff here, just talking some games that we liked, that we saw, or ones that are coming up. But shout out to Vandy, Diego Pavia, 377 yards. They beat Auburn 45-38 in overtime. Knock, do you have anything from this game?
Yeah, I mean, It's just so fitting. Auburn wants to score 38 points. You know, they didn't score 38 points combined all season after that Baylor game, and now they want to go out and fire their head coach and act like they want to have some sense, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. I was pissed off just watching Auburn succeed after they lost me so much money this year after not being able to gain any kind of yardage. So yeah, I saw a little bit of that game. I had Vanderbilt to cover the spread.
Yeah, that was nice. I didn't watch too much of it. Auburn just doesn't interest me anymore. I guess now I might have to tune in. Miami bounces back. They beat Syracuse 38-10. They kind of struggled there in the first half. They couldn't really produce points. I believe at halftime it was only 14-0, and then in the second half they were just able to run away with it. I mean, Ricky Collins, what a letdown kind of he's been since transferring in to become the backup from LSU. 12 of 25, 85 yards, 2 interceptions. So I don't know. I could see him transferring out of there next year. But yeah, anything from that game, knock?
No, I didn't check that game out at all.
Yeah, I don't really blame you, man. I wasn't watching it too much. It was on at the bar that I was at later in the night, but that's really about it. I do got to give a huge shout out to Sam Houston State, the Bearcats with the K. They went from Texas and traveled up to Oregon State and beat Oregon State 21-17 for their first win of the season. They had 8 consecutive losses, and they go in there and they get outgained by over 300 yards and win the game. They had 157 total yards of offense to Oregon State's 474, and they win the ball game. Crazy.
Relegate them. Send them down. Send
You
them.
know,
Send them down.
bro, you know it's bad whenever your interim coach gets fired. They just fired
Wow,
their
I didn't
they
see
just
that.
fired yeah, they fired their interim head coach, excuse me, Rob Aki. He got fired after the game. But you know what? I'm not even gonna put the blame on them. You know who I'm gonna put the blame on?
Who?
Is gonna be their AD, Scott Foster. He's terrible. Or Scott Barnes, excuse me, not Scott Foster. I'm thinking of the ref. Scott Barnes. Can't stand him. How the hell they I'm pretty sure like three or 4 years ago, they were ranked like number 9 in the country. And then they have a fall from grace. They have 2 wins. They're getting beat by Sam Houston State. That dude fucking sucks. Get him out of there. He shouldn't have a job. He was terrible at Pitt. He's terrible at Oregon State. Thank you, though, Oregon State and Corvallis, for taking him out of my hands and getting him out of Pittsburgh because that dude sucked. He took our basketball program to depths that we never even seen. Terrible. Get him out of there.
Yeah, how you win a game with 85 yards passing, bro?
It was bad,
I
bro.
don't know, man. Or yeah, Oregon State they need to be sent down. I feel bad for those kids, but I mean, do I? But then again,
You know
you
what?
know, they got guys like Anthony Hankerson. He's a good ball player, man. This is a guy that can go play somewhere, you
Yeah,
know?
they do have like the one-offs, and the only thing is, I'll say this, brother. You know, you don't feel too bad for them. They're at the top of the standings in the Pac-12 right now. So, and they got to go to Tulsa this upcoming week, and then they finish off at Washington State. So if they beat Washington State and they win, or even if they lose and they get a share of it, they're getting a ring. They're getting a Pac-12 ring,
Wow, man,
whether you like it or not.
that's sad, bro. I can assemble a team and put them in the Pac-12. This is yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
That's rough.
yeah, it's definitely rough. But all right, cool. We're gonna shift over a little bit here to our viewers. So actually, that's Knock. You have anything else from college football?
No, you know what? One thing I wanted to look at, which I haven't looked at yet, guys, is the slate for this upcoming weekend. So by Thursday, Mike and I will definitely know, and you know, have some good analysis for you there.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna keep doing it like last week. We will be going. We might not be live this week. We're working through some technical difficulties and stuff there, but we're gonna try to keep coming to you guys live to give you some good presentations and stuff like that. And yeah, just letting us know what you want to hear. Shout out to my boys down in the University of Texas Rio Grande. They got another big win this weekend. They are undefeated at home, so shout out to them. Shout out to Tennessee Tech. They're ranked at the highest that they've ever been. And shout out to South Dakota for upsetting South Dakota State and winning that in-state rivalry. So big ups to them. North Dakota State stays undefeated as well too. Just kind of wanted to bring you guys a little bit of some FCS, excuse me. Um, but that's all. Continue to, show your support, like and subscribe. Go follow us on all social medias, especially TikTok. We're over there posting videos all the time. So come interact with us. We love to see it. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.